But I'm really excited to connect with each and every one of you and to dive into one of my favorite topics, which is fitness, and how to really make it feel good. I know that for the last year, basically, it has added an amount of stress that I don't think any of us were prepared for. So I just want to preface all of this to say that if you have not moved your body in an intense way throughout this pandemic, one, it's okay. You are not alone. This has not been a normal situation by any means. And I just really like to stress that. And also, if you were, and if you also have struggled to get into a fitness routine even prior to COVID, and then still haven't done anything, it's also okay. To be frank, working out is work. And it is not something that comes naturally to really anyone. Okay. It's very rare for us to find people that automatically run and fall in love with it. It takes a little time when we are figuring out what works for our bodies. So I always like to say that it really does take trial and error. What works for one person probably won't work for you. And it's just important for you to give yourself as much grace and kindness as possible when it comes to thinking about your own fitness routine and really planning it out, because it's personal. I do have to say that I got very lucky and I tried something and I did love it. And it's kind of funny because I tried a couple of things with a close girlfriend of mine, and everything that she introduced me to, I ended up falling in love with, and she couldn't maintain. So that's just something important to think about when we are talking about getting into fitness. But just to start things off, if you do have that sheet, I would recommend pulling it up. It's kind of like my outline. I'm going to go through all of these things. And honestly, guys, if there's anything that jumps out at you, or if there's something that you have a question about, take yourself off mute, or I don't know, if you can raise your hand in this chat, whatever you want to do. That would be the best. I don't want it to feel like I'm speaking at you. If there's things that I say that spark a thought, or you have a question regarding it, please take yourself off mute and talk to me, because I want to hear from you guys. So one of the most important things that I think about has gotten very lost in fitness is that fitness should feel good, and it should be looked at in more of a medicinal way than anything else. On Point Nutrition has spoken on this, and this is something that is major for me and my own clients, is that exercise is not punishment. It should not have a direct relationship with what you eat. Meaning, if you have something that is considered a cheat meal, something a little bit out of the scope of what we normally eat, a couple of tacos with your friends at Loco Pez, maybe a slice of pizza. You guys know where I'm going with this. For so long, fitness has this direct relationship that if I eat bad, I need to punish myself and I need to outwork what I've done. And something that I've worked on over the last few years, and something that I work on with my own clients, is breaking that relationship between food and fitness in a detrimental way. So when we look at how we're moving our bodies, that's really the key here, is what am I doing on a regular basis that's making me feel good? Do I want you to eat well? Yes. Do I want you to eat in a way that fuels how you move your body? Yes. There is still a relationship of some kind. But I think what's important to note here is for those that have that over-exercise mentality, or that outwork mentality, or I'm going to do HIIT 6 days a week so I can eat on the weekends mentality, that's where we need to start to remove that kind of relationship, because I will be honest, it's not sustainable for you long term. And it's really how we develop a negative relationship with fitness, so much so that people get burnt out. They hate it, you know, and movement is one of the best things as human beings that we can do for ourselves. So when we're talking about it, exercise at the core is a preventative measure for so many things, so many diseases. There's so much science out there that at the core of it, movement prevents some diseases, eases the symptoms of others, can even reverse some chronic conditions. And there's so much evidence that supports this. I'm not going to get bogged down with it, but that's at the core of movement as medicine. It is just that, especially in today's day and age with where we are and what we're doing, where everything is now like at our computer, we're sitting down, like even being at this webinar, you know, so many things are in our home. So getting outside, moving your body even from home, it's another way to just relieve stress, relieve things that are going on around you, and to just prevent any other negative things from happening to you long term. Also, movement is movement. And I think a lot of people put pressure on how we should be moving, that we need to have a strict exercise regimen, that we need to be, you know, hitting lower body on Mondays and upper body on Tuesdays and core and cardio on Wednesdays. And it doesn't always have to be like that. I think that when we are first getting into a fitness routine for the first time, I think starting small, moving your body, doing a dance class, turning a YouTube video on, maybe even now hopping into a fitness class that you can with a trainer that you've heard good things about. It doesn't have to be this really serious thing. It can just be a time for you to explore and try different things in your body. Something else that is really important is that if you don't like it, you do not have to do it. If you've gone to a class, if you've tried something and you on the first time you hate it, you don't have to do it. There's so many different ways that you can move your body that go on and on and on and on. I would love to hear from you guys if there's anything that you are loving right now or you're enjoying. Please share them with the group, because I know that there's people out here that might need that little push of like, hey, I've tried this. Not going to do a shameless plug, but like I've been doing my virtual workouts for my clients and for my own community, and they have been so extremely helpful to everyone, including myself, because it just gets me going and I enjoy it. But if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it. And I think that that's really important. If you don't like to run, if you don't like to cycle, if you don't like to go to the gym, you don't have to do it. But there's other ways that you can figure out to do that feel just as good. I think it's also really important now is to create a safe space. Now that we're at home, a great way to just like make fitness approachable is right now. If you are not comfortable going in a gym, COVID aside, but if you're just, you know, gym intimidation is real. I have a lot of clients that have reached out to me that just like don't know what they're doing when they walk into a gym. And it's a little scary. There's a lot that's going on. If that is feeling just like way, way out of your comfort zone, then set up a small space in your home. If you don't have access to dumbbells right now, fill up a couple of water bottles, get some resistance bands, keep things simple and easy for you at home. And that's a great place for you to start. When we think about fitness, I think a lot of us go from 0 to 100, and that's not the way to do it. Start small, itty bitty things that you can do 1 to 3 times per week to start, and then build yourself up from there. If you establish a strong foundation at home, you start to figure out what the movement patterns are of your body at home. When you do feel a little bit more comfortable, or you do build your confidence up because you've been exercising at home, walking into a gym is not as intimidating as you would think. Also, reach out to people. I think a buddy system is great. I have a couple of girlfriends that have reached out to me and just been like, hey, can I come to the gym with you? And I can show you around. Like, if you have a friend in your life that is an avid gym goer, that's a great way for you to start to at least just like exposing yourself to it. Even if you do cardio, just like get in there. kind of rip the Band-Aid off and know that it is a safe space. And also know that like I've fallen on the gym floor, I've dropped weights, like I've tripped on the treadmill, I've, you know, done stupid things, but we all do them. Like I understand that there is like this scared feeling sometimes about trying new things, but I think it's also the best part about fitness is that you get to try and you get to do something with your body that you wouldn't do on your own. So just keep that in mind, that if the gym is seeming like a really scary place, you have friends, you have resources. And also, depending on where you go, there's always a trainer or somebody that's floating around the floor that if you don't know how to use equipment, they do. So, you know, I've been in places where I've just like had to find a staff person or found a trainer that has a little bit of downtime. And don't be afraid to go up to them. 9 times out of 10, they're not doing anything. They're probably looking at their cell phone, waiting and hoping that somebody even asks them a question. So don't be so shy, and use your resources to the best of your ability. And always, always, always give yourself grace and give yourself kindness. Like, it's really hard to start a fitness routine, but it's really rewarding at the same time. And it doesn't always have to be, like I said, 0 to 100. You're going to have days that you're not going to feel like you want to do anything. Don't do anything. The most important thing is that you listen to your body. And that's also really helpful when it comes to consistency. If you want to move for a long period of time and you want to feel good for as long as we hope that we're alive for, a couple days off or falling off and trying something else is not going to make or break you. So that is really, really important when we're talking about movement. Does anybody have any questions so far? I just don't want to like keep talking at you guys. Anything that you want to say about that first portion here? Movement is medicine. Any questions about going to the gym? Anything like that?
I have a question. I'm the
Hi,
only one
Phyllis.
live. I don't know where
No,
everybody
it's
is.
okay. I think there's a
Yay,
couple people that are
Brittany.
floating around.
I'm obviously a senior, and I stopped going to the gym for a year because of COVID.
Okay.
I fell and broke my back, so I'm going to
Oh,
physical therapy. And my
okay.
question is, what else could I do other than my physical therapy and walking? Because I do miss exercise.
Well, I always think that there's chair yoga, and there's amazing, amazing resources on yoga. On YouTube. So I could even do a little research, Brittany. I'm not sure, but YouTube is amazing. And I have a couple of resources and some specific trainers, Phyllis, that I can send you. But chair workouts are huge. You can do upper body movements. You can still work lower body and you can stay seated, because especially even though you are senior, I work with people that are between 60 and my oldest client right now is 85. And we work with resistance bands. We work with light dumbbells. If you have 2 cans of beans, but I think that as we age, you still want to strengthen your bones. You still want to stay flexible and mobile, and utilizing resistance bands and light dumbbells and having a follow along class, 15 minutes, a couple days a week, I think would be a great place for you to start in addition to your PT and walking. But YouTube is a great place to start. You can literally Google 15-minute chair yoga, 15-minute upper body workouts on a chair. Low impact is the magic word for you, Phyllis. You want to look up low impact workouts. And all of those are suited for where you are right now. Okay. Because again, and this is something that I'm working on with my own mom, is because she's 63 and she really has never picked up a weight before. And this year has been a hard year for her. She has some hip issues. She has some other things that are going on in her back as well. But she's found such relief by still staying seated and using upper body movements, using lower body movements, and resistance bands. So
Okay.
I would say, yeah, do a little research on YouTube. There's plenty of research sources online, and those are going to be like the great places for you to start. Low impact and chair workouts are going to be
Got it. I
perfect
wrote
for
it
you.
down. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more resource just to pop in here. If you
Oh,
search
yeah.
on YouTube walk in place videos, there if it's cold outside or something like that, they have, you can go 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, and you literally walk forwards and backwards, and that can be really helpful too if it's cold outside.
Yeah, I do walk around my condo
Yeah, that
with my
counts.
cell phone so I can track it and
Yeah.
try to get
I'm
at
telling
least a
you,
mile in. Yeah.
this is my space right now. Like when I'm at home, I have a little itty bitty space,
Right.
and it at first it really did deter me. I was very frustrated. I was very nervous because I am an avid gym goer. It's like I don't want to say I like live there, but being a spin instructor, I'm in and out of that space all the time.
Right.
And I really had nothing at home. But in a way, it's also made me a much better trainer. And also, just again, when we're talking about making fitness feel good, it took a lot of pressure off by being at home and getting a little bit more creative and giving your body different forms of exercise that it's not used to. So for those that are also very heavily dependent on outside sources, in a way, this is a great time. This is where like body weight workouts are really great. And again, utilizing whatever you have around your home to still stay active and to still move your body.
Right.
Again, removing away from like calorie burn or outworking a meal that we had, because it's not really about that. Fitness is not, at the core, isn't always about chasing numbers and focusing on a smaller body type. It's really about, like, Phyllis, you injured yourself. You're in a higher age right now, and how can we utilize fitness to make sure that you're staying healthy and you feel good at this point in your life?
Right. It's true. Absolutely. And I was going like 4 days a week,
Yeah.
for half an hour, not a
Yeah,
lot,
that's
but
great.
I always just went, and I
Yeah,
missed it terribly.
I know it's been a very hard transition, but I would also say for equipment, like Amazon, I don't think Amazon has dumbbells. I
I
feel
have
like,
dumbbells. I
yeah,
have
people have
4
been like up and
pounds.
down.
I
But
have
do you have resistance bands?
I have some. I have a couple.
Yeah, I would say
I have a
those are going
long
to be the
strap, a
magic.
long yoga
Yeah.
strap, and stuff like that. So
Perfect. So I would say bring those in. And again, when you're Googling like 15-minute workouts, things like that, include resistance band workout, 15-minute light dumbbell or low impact strength training. And that will give you workouts that coincide with the equipment that you have.
okay, good. Thank you. I'm going to try.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my information is in there. Like I said, we can always follow up. And if you're having some struggle, and this goes for everybody in the group, guys, for everyone here, that if there's questions that you might not feel comfortable asking me right now, or if anything comes up, my Instagram, my email, everything is at the bottom of that document. I am always available to answer any questions.
Good. Thank you.
And if anyone hasn't opened it yet, I keep sending it in the chat for every time a new person comes in. I'm going to send it another time. This is Jenna's PDF and kind of a summary of what she's talking about tonight. So that's all in there. If you don't know what we're talking about, it is in the chat.
I just printed it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Look at you.
I printed it out while you were talking. Here it is.
Yay, I love that. I need to get a printer. That's like the one thing that I don't have. There was a meme the other day, it cracked me up. It was like, if you were born after, or you graduated college or something after 2015, like you don't have a printer in your house anymore. It's like, I definitely don't. So yeah, that's what I'm like, I need one of these so I don't have to go to the post office. But yes, so that's the first part that I wanted to cover with you guys today, is really looking at movement first and foremost as a way to feel good and empower yourself, and to not focus so much on what your Apple Watch says, or what you ate for dinner, or what you didn't eat for dinner, or all of these other outside factors. when we're looking at movement, try a couple of things, see how your body feels, and then focus on the nutrition part. I don't want to say later, but I think that there's certain things that right now, like we're trying to, I don't want to say this in a way, and I'm just trying to articulate how I want to say this, just so that you can move without feeling the need to burn calories. That there's other things that go into fitness that don't necessarily have anything to do with movement. So that's the first part. I think that that's really important for us because honestly, every diet and everything that's out there focuses heavily on extreme exercising, or, you know, it's always about how long can you exercise for, in addition to where can you cut your calories and all of this. And I want us to kind of not totally ignore it, because food is fuel and we obviously need it, but it's at the core of what fitness is. It's not always about that. And moving our bodies is just important for, you know, longevity in our life and how we feel. The second thing that I really want us to talk about is fitness for all bodies. And I think that Phyllis is like a perfect example of that as well, is that, you know, fitness is for every single person. It doesn't matter necessarily how old you are, how young you are. Fitness is really for everyone to move. I mean, we were made to move our bodies. So it's hard when we're in, you know, certain environments. We might see just one body type, and if we might not have that body type, it can be very again, intimidating to start a fitness routine. But I think more and more we're moving away from that and starting to realize that fitness is for everyone and health is not just one size. I struggled with this mentality for a long time, and it also heightened when I became a spin instructor, because I didn't necessarily have the leanest physique, and it took a little bit of time of honestly just to keep at it and to keep going, that I realized that it doesn't really matter. And if you feel strong and you feel powerful doing what you're doing, that's what matters. So also keeping that in mind and not necessarily worrying about our outside again, and focusing in on how we feel on the inside and what we're doing that makes us feel really good. And I think it's kind of, it's hard because fitness has really, again, it's been very twisted, and we're so used to seeing just one body type and one kind of person, you know, at the gym and or in these fitness classes or in a virtual space. And it shouldn't be like that. And the more that we kind of push against it and just again keep showing up, I think the less and less it's going to matter. And I don't know about you, but I think that it's really important for you to also, you know, look at your surroundings, look at who you are interacting with. If you are going to places that are not making you feel comfortable, again, you don't have to go. If you are looking at social media and, you know, not feeling the best about yourself, then I think it's important for you to take a step back and, you know, clean house a little bit. You are in control of yourself. You are in control of what you see, of what you hear, of what you do. And if the things that you see, hear, and do aren't making you feel good, you know, change it. You're not stuck. You just have to change. When we also talk about who we're interacting with, I think it's really important for you to work with a professional. So it doesn't have to be forever, but I recommend this to all people, is that if you have never worked with a personal trainer at all, or you've never had any kind of guidance whatsoever, I think that it's worth the money to work with somebody that is a certified professional, not somebody with a blue check on Instagram. Okay. I love IG. I get a lot of great connections and I have gotten some great resources, but be mindful about who and where you're getting your workouts from. Okay. Do your research. It's important to know what these people do for a living, actually, because a lot of girls that look really cute in Gymshark and throw on their HIIT workouts have no idea what they're doing. And everything that they are doing is curated by someone else, by probably not themselves. So just be mindful of that. To reach out to somebody that is legitimate, that can guide you, doesn't have to be forever. My goal as a trainer, unless, like my goal as a trainer is to make sure that the fitness that you're getting is great, but that you wouldn't necessarily need to train with me forever. I want you to feel comfortable and then eventually be able to go out there and do your own thing. So working with somebody for a couple of weeks or a couple of months is a great place also to start, to get that baseline and to get that foundation. And again, to help you build and grow your confidence to go into the gym or to go into whatever fitness class you're in, and do your thing, Any questions there?
Well, I just have to say, I am like shaking my head so hard with everything that you just said. It's so true. Even just doing like an Instagram purge of like people who just like don't build you up and like don't help your vibe is so essential. And as you're talking about, fitness professionals or Instagram influencers with that blue check, it's the same for dietitians, nutritionists, or anyone, in our field doing the same thing. So yeah, everything you just said hit home for me. Does anyone have like questions here? Or
years ago, I used to exercise with the television, and Denise Austin was her name. I don't know if you knew her name before your time. You probably weren't even born yet, but she was great. She did workouts on TV, and I'll never forget. She used to say, and she used to talk about diet, but not really get into it. She used to say 80-20 rule. 80% should be really natural, and then you can kind of fool around a little bit. Cheat.
I'm not mad at that.
But she was amazing, and I used to love to follow her. But that was years ago.
But that's also important, Phyllis. If there are people that like get you excited and that inspire you and make you feel like you want to be stronger and try things, I'm never going to say don't follow them. I think that's really important. I've built my Instagram, and it's not anything crazy, but the feedback that I receive from the people that I receive it from and how happy they are and that they connect and they resonate with what I'm saying and what I'm doing, that's, you start to figure out who your community is. And I'm such a huge proponent on, again, like not following celebrities, not following people that make you question yourself, because that's a really hard thing, especially when you are starting a fitness routine for the first time. You can be extremely hard on yourself. And I don't think it's good to have people around that feed into that negative mindset. Create an environment that builds you up, that exposes you to other body types, that exposes you to other genders, other races doing movement. It's important for you to just have a variety when you are moving your own body, because it creates this, it's like a safety net. It makes you feel better about yourself by seeing other people and other bodies doing the same thing that you're doing. Instead of like looking at perfection. I don't know why, like I keep thinking I think it's because I was looking at Kim Kardashian, but why I don't follow her, because you want to talk about diet culture.
Oh.
Anybody in this group, please, if you are following the Kardashians, like I love you, but please unfollow her, because you want to talk about sick. Like
I can't even understand any of that. That doesn't make
it's just
how
crazy.
She got where she is. I don't get it at all.
We don't need to get into how she got where she is, Phyllis. Okay, it's not what you would think it is.
Okay.
You don't want to know, Phyllis.
Just as an example, there's just, and also people that I'm gonna be front and you would probably agree with this, Brittany, if you see diet products, waist trainers, fit tea, detoxes, cleanses, like you don't need that. You do not need that. So if anybody that you are working with, training with, that's also really a red flag. If you are working with a personal trainer or an individual in that health and wellness space, and their first thing in your intro or after a couple of weeks is to try to sell you supplements or to try to get you to do a detox or a cleanse, I will be 100%, I would run. I would take my money and I would book it.
That's their main interest. And then the other thing is the subset. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like, I don't want to get too off topic here from it, but just some red flags, friends, that if you are starting to look for personal trainers or you're starting to get involved in the wellness, the health, wellness, nutrition space on Instagram, to just be careful and to just be smart and to do your research, because it goes a very long way. There are plenty of certified professionals that are on Instagram, and you will start to know that and see that, and you'll be able to tell. And then just to kind of bring everything home, and then I do want to obviously open it up. I have some really key things that when I'm coaching my clients on when they start, basically, if you are starting fitness for the first time or getting back into things after, we'll say, taking a hiatus. Okay, we're going to call COVID a hiatus, but even before then, maybe you were a student athlete. I have several clients that really struggled after not being on their team sport after they graduated college, not really sure, how do I stay motivated? How do I do all these things? So if you took a hiatus from fitness, that last portion is really for you. So I think that, again, number one, you're going to hear me say this. I know Brittany has probably said this to all of you. Just make sure that you do your research, that whoever you're working with, that you make sure that they are certified, that somewhere ACE, NASM, if they are a fitness professional, that is key. If they are a nutritional guide or a health coach, that again, that they've gone through some certification process, that also when you receive any kind of nutritional information, that it's not some baseline 1200 calorie like broccoli and rice for all of your meals. Be mindful. Don't just take information and put it to practice without having a little bit of background, and also without considering your own lifestyle. Maybe somebody prescribes a plan for you and it's unrealistic. Okay. If you look at a meal plan and you like, well, I hate all of these foods, and then you try to talk to them about it and they don't want to, and they say, no, this is the plan. Again, run. You want somebody that's meeting you where you are, that understands what you need. I had one client that was Jamaican, and she had worked with professionals that wanted her to no longer eat the foods that were close. Yeah, that were like close to her heart culturally. Yeah, and she was like, I'm not going to cut out the things that I grew up eating. Yeah, there's ways, and I think as well with a lot of health and fitness professionals that, again, when people turn into it being that there's only one way to eat and only one way to move. And that's not the case. If you're a nutritionist, if you're a registered dietitian, isn't meeting you where you are, if you're a fitness professional, isn't understanding what you need and how your body moves, then it's okay to say, like, this isn't going to work out. So be mindful of that kind of stuff. Because it's hurtful, and it makes you not want to do the things that you should want to do. Then major thing is focusing on progress, not perfection. And I know it's probably cheesy, and listen, I'm not recreating the wheel. This is probably nothing that you haven't heard before, but it's not going to be great for a while. Like when you first start moving your body in any different way than what you're used to, you're not going to be comfortable. You're not really going to understand. You might not feel it immediately. Try your best to, again, lead with kindness, lead with grace, and just focus on your progress. And some really great ways to do that is, again, using a journal Keeping notes. I like the note app on my phone. I track, you know, how I'm feeling with certain weights, which workouts I really enjoyed, what I can go back to. Journaling is really key. I feel like across the sphere, or excuse me, across the board, when you're making any kind of shift, is writing some things down and really taking your time to reflect and see how the way that you're moving, is it working for you? Can you sustain it? Does it feel good? Do you feel any change after, you know, after the 8 weeks that you've been doing something? But that's really the true tea here, is that it's going to take time. Usually my clients don't see any major change until, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, especially if they are completely new to movement. So just pace yourself. And don't go 0 to 100, because you're just asking to burn out. If you've never spun before and then you sign up and you go take 5 spin classes, like, see you next year, because you're never going to want to walk into a spin room again. Like, you need to pace yourself, go easy, make sure that you're incorporating rest days. Okay. I don't know where we came up with the fact that, like, you have to work out every single day. You don't. You really don't. Can you move your body every day? Yeah, but that's also can be a walk. That can be 10 to 15 minutes of mobility, or yoga, or foam rolling, rollerblading, you know, hiking. It doesn't always have to be in the gym to count. And you should give yourself at least 1 to 2 days of, like, full rest. I try to give myself 1 full day of rest, and then I'll do 1 day of active recovery, which is a very gentle bike ride or a 30-minute yoga flow, where I'm still moving in some way, but I'm also stretching, elongating, giving myself the opportunity to just move in a way that feels good. For my clients, I call it like a wild card day. Like, have fun with it. Don't think too much about it, but definitely take 1 day completely off. Okay. And if there are weeks that, like, maybe your energy is really high, then again, you can keep it moving, but you shouldn't be going like heavy lifting, heavy running, heavy intense hit workouts, cycling, the same thing straight through week after week after week, without giving yourself time to rest and repair itself. Or again, you're going to get burnout. You're going to get exhausted, like, mentally and physically. You're not going to want to do it anymore. And when I think about, you know, like, my journey, Phyllis, I'm sorry, but, like, I want to get to your age and still be able to move my body. You know, it's like, you want to be able to look a certain way for, okay, whatever, a certain amount of time. But at the end of the day, fitness is for longevity. You want to be able to get to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I have a client that's 84 and he's doing ball slams. I don't know how, but I'm like, you are my inspiration. Like, this is why I want to keep moving. And if you burn out at 30, like, you know, and also, guys, watch your goals. If you have a wedding coming up, I know that it's COVID, also, like, yikes, but when we put so much pressure on these big life events, that's also like a recipe for disaster. Okay. Don't put these big events on a pedestal, so much so that, again, like, you burn out. You get to your big day, you get to, you know, the wedding or the vacation or your high school reunion, whatever it is. It's like, that day comes and goes. Are you going to then all of a sudden, like, okay, got married, gonna stop working out. Okay, you know, made it to my high school reunion, gonna go back to eating like crap Monday through Saturday. No. So when we take that pressure off of ourselves of having, like, this one big event, and pulling it back and just trying to do something a little bit every day or a couple of days a week, it becomes then that lifestyle change, something that you can sustain long term, because that's the goal here, is to establish a fitness routine that you can actually do for, honestly, forever. And that's really it. That's all I got for you guys. I'm going to give it like these last, because we have about 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions for me. Any other things?
Well, that was great, I want to say. I love this.
Good. I feel like I hope
yeah.
I didn't ramble too much. I hope that I kind of tapped into some things in terms of how to get into fitness. And yeah, if anybody has anything like that's also not about what we talked about, but just like a fitness question in general, like lay it on me.
Hi, Karen here. Yeah, I
Hey.
loved hearing your point of view because it's so true. Like sometimes just like scrolling through Instagram, I just get like caught up on like what people are like saying. Like, for example, oh, like you're not going to reach your goals by like doing too much cardio, or you're not going to like reach your goals by doing too much weight. So I really like hearing your point of view because it's just like what's comfortable to you, and it shouldn't just be like, oh, I want to look this certain type. It's just doing like fitness to like feel good, which is how my mentality has been changing lately. Like if I have like a stressful day, even if I move my body for like 15 minutes, it just feels like really good. It feels good.
Oh, Karen, yes, yes. And I will always be transparent with everybody that I speak with, where I struggled with my weight for a very long time. And when I got to college, I was lucky that I kind of stumbled into a way to move. Like I found spinning and I really genuinely fell in love with it. But there really was a time that when I became an instructor that it became a little obsessive. And I started to move for other people. I started to do things that I didn't enjoy. I started to really beat my body up because I started to see like, this is what this person was doing on Instagram, and maybe I should try this, and maybe I should do that. And I stopped liking it, and I stopped moving for me. And this is real, when you realize this, there's always going to be another opinion.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody else that's going to say, no, my way is the way. And the cool thing about it is that fitness, it's personal, and you have to figure out what works for you and what makes you feel good. There's going to come a time that like maybe weight training, heavy lifting isn't necessary, but I'm also not going to say like you shouldn't have some kind of resistance. Like I always encourage clients that are not into dumbbells, not into kettlebells, squatting, all of that stuff, getting a set of resistance bands, having some light ankle weights, because the core of strength training is to really strengthen your bones and keep you like sturdy. Like that's really what it is. Like if we get cut and all of that stuff, okay, great. But at the core of it, like resistance training is really also about improving your muscles, improving your bone density, being able to, again, activities of daily living, like it's kind of silly when I think about it, but like, can you get your groceries up your 2 flights of stairs to your apartment? Can you lift your daughter or your son up for more than 5 minutes? Can you go outside and like, if you trip on the street, can you pick yourself back up? That's where we talk about like the importance of weightlifting. And that's where it stems from. But if you're a cardio queen, get after it. Like if you enjoy that, great. But just don't do it to the point that like you're so sore and you're still like going, like hitting the Stairmaster for 45 minutes when your body is like, Karen, like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that's so
like
true.
They're also, people say like, don't do cardio, but that's also coming from a place of, are you doing it to the extreme? If you're doing cardio 7 days a week, I don't really recommend that, just because again, you need rest. You need to let your body take a second and then go back to it. But I love hearing that you connected with that. And I really think that it's really powerful to honestly just like mute the accounts that don't make you feel great. Shut off the people that, are kind of giving you that never miss a Monday mentality vibes all the time, because it makes you question yourself. Like when I take a Monday off, that's like, I don't want to see that on a Monday, like as I'm taking the Monday off, or whatever it is. So I'm glad to hear that is something that's helped you.
Yeah. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for chatting.
And I have to say, I kind of love how you just said never miss a Monday, because I follow someone on Instagram that actually is like says that she is the creator of the Always Miss a Monday Club.
Okay. I was
just
gonna
like,
say, oh no, is she somebody that like is beating that into your head? Like
No,
never
but
miss a Monday?
normalizing that like you can miss a day and
Yes.
get into your own schedule, your own habits. Like it's just nice to hear, like, you know, more than one person saying that online.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And I don't know, it's like I came up, I got into fitness, I would honestly say, like, I got into spinning a lot like when I was 16. And when I first got into it, it was very much like me and 40, 50, 60-year-old people that were outdoor cyclists and that were coming in. And then when I went to college and I saw like what it really was, there was this whole transition. But when I would say like 2010, 2011, I graduated college, I graduated high school, I was in college between like 2012, 2014, was also when I started to really see like this mentality kind of come up of like really intense exercise all the time. And I feel like it's the last year or so, I've seen a little bit of a shift back to more of that mentality where it's like this group of fitness professionals are being like, wait, hey, like you can miss a day, and it's probably a good idea that you do miss a day, and maybe even 2 days, and maybe even 3 days. Like, it really varies on your body, you know, and what you need and what feels good to you. And for some, 5 days a week isn't something that they can do, and for others, 5 days a week is a natural thing that they enjoy that amount of time, you know. So it's like everybody is so different, everybody really is. And it's okay that you don't necessarily go with what a large group of people are doing when it comes to your fitness routine. It really is. Anybody else? I don't know if that's a doorbell or like anybody else have a question?
That was someone coming into the Zoom meeting.
I like
that.
But
I think that we could do an entirely separate webinar about like Instagram and like what it has done to the fitness and nutrition industry. And the thing is, you have to go and search for it, but there are positive people like Jenna, like on Instagram. But the way the algorithm works, if you're not following that type of people, Instagram's just going to feed you that negative, you know, content over and over again. So the key point there is like, delete the people you don't like, follow the people with messages you do like, and that's what will perpetuate kind of like on your feed. I just learned about the algorithm recently, if you can't tell.
I'm working on it as we speak, and it's crazy. It's a hard thing. It really is a hard thing. But you know, I think that just like you just have to take it all with a grain of salt. You really do. And that goes like not even with Instagram, that goes for anything in fitness, guys. Like anything that we are talking about, you have to take it with a grain of salt, and you have to it really does. It's a lot about trial and error. Fitness is not easy. Working out is work. And something that I read the other day that really rang so true to me is, you know, to be realistic, you might never like working out. It's still, there's days that like I wake up and I'm like, damn, again? Like, I gotta do this again, you know? It's like we all have those moments, and it's really about understanding that about yourself, and being kind to yourself when you have those days, but not totally letting that kind of negative of like, oh, I have to, where then you can kind of shift your mindset. And something that I think is really important too is that you get to. And I don't know about you, but when I do think about this time, especially with us being in COVID, how sick some people are right now, and how so many people's health has been affected by this, and the amount of loss that we've experienced. And it's not something that we need to talk about, and that needs to be on the forefront of our minds, because we also need to be happy and live our lives as best as we can right now. But sometimes you need to shift your perspective a little bit, and you need to remember that you have one body, and how are you going to take care of this shell as you have it right now for as long as you can? And it's not about being extreme, but again, it's about longevity and taking that extreme mindset and kind of just pulling away from that and just being like, okay, today I woke up, I'm breathing, I'm feeling good enough that I'm able to move in some way. So let me get after it because I get to do this. I don't have to. And sometimes I have to repeat that to myself where I'm just like, I get to. Like I go on my bike or I go lift or whatever it is. And I'm just like, today I get to do this. And not every workout is going to be the best thing in the world. And not every workout is going to rock. But for the most part, you're going to feel better after it's done. And also I like to think about it like that. Like I always end my class with a moment of just giving everybody an opportunity just to feel their body in like, you know, like like in a normal way, not like feeling on themselves, but, you know, feel what you create, the energy, the heat, the sweat, the power. And it's really important to hang on to that and to remember that because you did it, nobody else. So when things are getting like really frustrating or you're just like not motivated at all, just pull that out and just remember like, okay, today I get to. And it's a really helpful shift in your mind. Even if you've been working out for forever, like, again, I'm somebody that's been training in some respect, in some way, for probably close to, oh my God, I'm going to be 30, for almost, I would say 10, 11 years consistently. And it's been in my life professionally now for 6. So it's, and I'm just now like getting into the vibe of like, this is a habit. And I'm not saying that to scare you or to tell you like to not try, but it's also not a snap your fingers. It's not a 30-day challenge and like, oh, my whole mindset is shifted about fitness. It does take work. You know, a 30-day challenge is a great way to start, but it really is, it takes time. So don't beat yourself up if you've fallen off or tried some things or, you know, done this class and didn't like it. Like, it's just put some things into perspective here of like, it takes people a long time. And a lot of the fitness influencers and a lot of the people that we see, it wasn't overnight. These are people that have been athletes and trainers and in the athletic space for a long time before they just like decided to put some content up, you know, like it doesn't happen overnight. So just be kind, try to get something that you can do consistently that doesn't make you want to pull your hair out. You know, even if it's literally putting on a couple of your favorite songs and like dancing around your apartment naked, whatever, it's cardio, move that ass. Like, you know, It's just like, it's not that deep. Like sometimes it's just not that deep.
Yes. We have Rebecca in the chat actually says she watches only certain shows when she works out to motivate her, which is perfect.
Rebecca, I love that. My mom is the same. And I do that too. I think that's awesome, especially if you guys have a bike at home. That is such a great idea, Rebecca. Like your 30-minute, like your favorite show, put that on and do your incline walk or do your jog. Like when sometimes you don't want to listen to music, that is such a motivator. My mom has been loving, like she'll put on a movie, like a new movie, and she'll watch the first half. And then it kind of like forces her, she calls me, she's like, okay, I'm in the second half of the movie now. So I'm going to go and do my run. Like it's kind of like a little reward, especially for those when you're like working all day. And it's okay. Like if you want to catch up on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, do it. Like whatever you need to do, even though they're extremely toxic. I don't know where that came from, but still like whatever the kind of like junk that you need to do or like whatever treat, like fine, do that. Like it doesn't matter. I love that idea. Oh, that's even better, Rebecca. Yes, because it's like your time. Exactly. And that's also so major.
For those who can't see, she picks shows that her fiance hates so she can watch them.
Yeah. And that's also another thing. Like my dad only watches sports. So it's like my mom's time to like catch up on her shows. And I'm the same. Like I've been putting on what is it? On Amazon, The Wilds. If you guys haven't seen that yet. Okay, Rebecca, I might have just given you a new show. The Wilds on Amazon Prime. 44 minutes. There you go. You get to watch a show and get your steps in. You can do the same thing when you're outside. I also love podcasts. Put on your favorite podcasts. There's so many. There's everything. Audiobooks. It's all good. It all counts. It all counts.
And Jenna, I like what you just said. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
It's not deep. I was so, and like, listen, I am a big proponent, again, like I said, of journaling. And I think it's good to have, it's also good to have a plan in place. If you are working a consistent schedule, or even if you're not, like my schedule is a little, like I have funky pockets of time in my day, just from what I do. I schedule my workout in every day, Monday through Saturday, whatever it is. I put a plan in just so it's on there and I see it. And I don't know if you guys utilize Google Calendar. I have made that switch this year, and I don't know how the hell I lived without it. I will say that honestly.
I made that switch this year too.
I color code everything, and I get a little reminder, you know, when 30 minutes out, like, hey, Jenna, your personal workout is coming. So it also like kind of keeps that little pep in your step. I finish whatever client work I have or whatever I was doing previously, or I make sure that I eat. There's also like that it keeps it keeps your day going, especially again, when we're in COVID and schedules are weird and you kind of have to create the space for you to thrive in. So if you also are feeling like I am very scatterbrained, I don't know what my morning is going to look like, plan it out. I really have been loving my Google Calendar, and I literally put in like 5-minute stretch, coffee, 20 minutes to myself, emails, personal workout, and I pace everything out. And if you don't, what was I going to say? I was totally losing my track of thought. I don't know where I was going with that. I totally just got a text, excuse me. But what I was going to say is, even if you don't keep to the schedule perfectly, again, it's not that deep, but at least you start to establish a flow to your day, a flow to your week, and again, how you're moving your body throughout the week. Exactly. And it really does help to keep you kind of moving. It just helps.
And so those are some great tips. I know we're kind of at our time for, we could do a part 2 if everyone wants it. Yeah. We could talk about a part 2, but 2 great tips that Jenna had just mentioned, we all kind of like collaborated on, is one, a thing, it's really called like habit stacking, based on this book, Atomic Habits. So when you have a habit of watching a show, habit stack it with riding your bike, and then you'll be more willing to do it. And then the other thing is Google Calendar, because if you put a workout on that calendar and you don't get it done, you can literally drag it to the next day so that it doesn't leave your week, but it's still there. And you're still holding yourself accountable for that. And yeah. So Jenna, anything you want to kind of say to close out?
Well, first, I just want to thank you all so much for listening to me and for coming to this webinar. I love, love, love talking about this. Like I said, my information is at the bottom. So if you have any questions, and also if you would like to follow me on Instagram, that's where you can find me. I also offer 3 virtual fitness classes a week. I run my own little boutique style studio. It's called The Philosophy. I will send a link to Brittany to email to all of you guys, but I'll give you a free code so you can try a class with me over the next couple of weeks. The code will be on point. And I offer 2 45-minute classes. Mondays and Wednesdays are a little bit more strength focused, so weights are encouraged. Friday is more of an express class. It's really just about body weight, a little bit more cardio, no weights. So I have those 3 classes. I'll send that link to Brittany to email out to all of you guys, but it'll be on my website, and then I'll just give you guys a free class for you to try. And then obviously, if you want to stay in, if you like it, I offer drop-ins, recordings. So if you can't even make the live times, that's always an option too. I have a couple of members that subscribe but they can't, like 9 times out of 10, the times don't work for them. So they just get the recordings and do the workouts on their own. And then, you know, as always, I have other resources, other ways to work with me one-on-one if that is of interest to you guys. But if not, let's stay connected on IG. If you have any questions, anything regarding what we talked about, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So everybody, I did just drop Jenna's email into the chat here. In your follow-up email, along with the link to the recording of this webinar, you'll get the PDF that we're talking about in case you haven't opened it up yet. You'll get Jenna's information. You'll get all that good stuff. And we're going to have to do a part 2. I really think we will.
I'm here.
Yeah, me too. I'm not
going to go right now. So,
but yeah,
very
everyone
down.
have a great night.
Take care,
Thank you
guys.
so
It was so
much.
great
Thank
chatting
you.
with you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
It was helpful.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Righty. Bye-bye.